Hello and welcome back to the Eagle Coaches Show with Mike Dunn, joining us again for our second installment of this fine broadcast. We're glad you're joining us and hope to keep you around. Want to make sure and recognize a few great folks. Of course, the Dell City Schools for helping us out, and Coach Mike Dunn. You had your first game, and I tell you what, we had your IT people helping us out to get it streamed, and our producer Brad Reed here working very, very hard to get that done. But we got it on. Thought it went pretty well, actually, for our first stab at it. Now, you had your first run at a head coach here, and give us a little bit of what was the feelings even before, when you gave that first speech in the locker room, or touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, during the week, I never felt like I was going to get there. I didn't feel like as a team, just felt like it was dragging on. And it was so busy throughout the week that never really even had time to sit down and even think about that first speech, or think about, the first play, or think about those things that you would think about as far as your first head coaching job. But, once we got there, since I hadn't thought about it a lot, there wasn't really any nerves. There wasn't much of that. I was just excited to see our kids go out and compete. And I felt like we would do that. I knew it wouldn't be a perfect game for us. I know we're not there yet. But I felt like our kids gave perfect effort, which is something that we really talk about and try to stress all the time. So, as far as a first time being out there and being in that position, I felt like it went well. That was one of the big things. I did want to say the right things beforehand, but how it is. You get in the moment and you never know what's going to come out. But, I didn't have it scripted or didn't have really anything I was going to say. I just talked to him about some of the things that we really stress, which is doing things right, as far as our behavior, our character, and getting to the fourth quarter, and that was what we talked about in the first half, what we talked about in the second half. We can get to the fourth quarter with the chance, then we're going to have a chance to win the game, and that's really where we were. So I felt good about it.
Just even before the game, felt like there was a good crowd, a lot of energy. Even watching your guys come out of the tunnel there, it was kind of a slow walk, and it built up into a run, and you could just see the excitement on the players as they came out. It was you got that all right, it's high school football time.
Yeah. It was kind of funny. I was watching a video someone put on Twitter of the kids walking out of the tunnel and then running, but there was a girl talking. You could hear her saying, "Oh, I guess they're doing something new this year," And so, I think it felt like that. Talking to people afterwards, I think a lot of people. I think the consensus was it is a different look around here, and they could tell with our guys that there's a lot of fight there, and there's a lot of guys trying to do things the right way, and so that's really all we're looking for from our guys is to do it by the code, and with us we always stress commitment, discipline, effort, toughness, and pride, and I felt like we showed pretty much all of those. Our discipline could still get better, obviously, with our stupid penalties. But that's going to be any game, any team. When you make mistakes, you want to get that fixed. But I felt good about everything else.
And as a whole, even from say last season to this season, I'd mentioned to you that that was an issue. Say third downs and stuff like that. It was just a lot of mental things.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it looks like I felt, aside from a few penalties there, they were playing smart.
Yeah.
Through the game, we saw, like I said, they had a couple big runs in the second half and things like that. But it's not like there isn't athletes on the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
You're not.
It's a pretty good team over there as well. So
definitely a lot of confidence builders out of that. We want to go ahead and touch on a little bit of it. You got the game started underway. We started with Ganther at quarterback, his first start, sophomore QB, and I think he did all right there starting out. I showed him for around 6 for 19. I don't know, give or take, with when they throw penalties on things, and had 93 yards passing. So certainly some success to begin with. Did have a couple interceptions in there. Was the decision to, hey, let's give Wood a shot when you went to him and just try to change up the script?
That was more than anything what it was. We were just trying to get some momentum one way or the other, and we needed a spark at that point, and it wasn't anything really that Quinlan did or didn't do. It was more, we got to change our speed, we got to change our pace. What can we do? And we had Jared in our back pocket, so I went to our offensive coordinator and said, hey, let's give Jared a shot right here. Let's see if we can change our luck, and he came out and he produced. He threw a big touchdown pass and threw some good balls. I think our receivers, as good as they are, I think we dropped too many balls the other night, and that was with Quinlan and Jared, and we tried to force some things that weren't there. So all in all, our pass game, I know it can be better, and that's the thing. When you got so many good receivers, you want to get them all involved. But, I think that I think we can do a better job of throwing and catching here in the future. You know, I know we will because we have to. I mean, we have because that's one of our best positions. You know, and so I feel like both those quarterbacks can get them the ball. We just got to catch the ball.
Well, I mean, he looked good. You know, it did look like it maybe got out a little bit of a rhythm there.
Sure.
And but otherwise, you know, I mean, for a sophomore kid and his first opportunity, there were certainly some bright spots to build on and be encouraged by. And Jared Wood, come out, you know, gunslinging, just firing it down the field, and it was exciting to watch him. I think he even had 95 yards and was completed 3 passes.
Sure.
And the coming up. You know, next game, have you already kind of decided, you know, are we looking at one or the other? Or
no, we're gonna really take our time this week and really try to figure out who gives us the best chance in this game. You know, I think that you'll probably see both of them again. You know, because one of the things that Quinlan really did well for a sophomore, it wasn't a roller coaster. You know, his emotions were intact. He wasn't, you know, even when we put Jared in, he was fine. He stood right there by the coach. He didn't get down on himself. Didn't, you know, there was not much. There wasn't a lot of high, not a lot of low with him. He was pretty even kills, which is what you want with your quarterback. You know, he's got to be that guy that stays positive no matter what, and I think he did that. So, you know, I'd have no problem playing either one of them. You know, I think we'll figure out this week who gives us the best chance. We feel like this week, you know, but like I said, I think we'll probably see both of them.
Great. Well, we'll look forward to that, and it was exciting. Now, speaking of catching the ball, Isaac Beverly had 50-plus yards, I think, receiving.
Yep.
A great job out there, and Isaac looking maybe a little faster. A little more, not necessarily lean, but maybe he's put on a little more tone.
He's filled out well. You know, he's working his butt off, and he's working hard in the weight room, and he's doing extra whenever we're conditioning. You know, he's the guy that's always getting an extra couple reps, and you know, he plays so much. You know, he probably had 130 snaps the other night. He didn't come off the field very much on either side of the ball. On defense, I think he stayed in the whole game. Offensively, he might have been out for 2 series. So I'm saying he probably played that many plays, and, you know, it's starting to show because that's what he does in practice.
Yeah.
You know, we practice just as hard as we play, and that's kind of our deal is we want our practices harder than the game on Friday just so when they get there it's easy. But, you know, that being said, he's getting a lot of work in, and you can tell it's showing.
And
so
he'll be the guy whose hands aren't on his hip in the fourth quarter.
Sure.
And,
that's our goal. You know, that's what – looking at it, I think our guys are playing just as hard in the fourth as they were in the first, a lot of them. You know, we had some issues with cramping, but, you know, you look on the other side, they were doing the same thing. I think it was more the humidity and things like that.
Well, there was plenty of that.
Sure.
Now, I don't know if you can have over 100% humidity, but we were certainly at that point.
Yeah.
Brad, our producer, and I have spent a time or two in New Orleans, and we thought it was the most humid place on earth. But the Dell City press box is giving it a running for its money, I'll tell you that.
No doubt.
Now, a few other people mentioned Isaac Beverly. We definitely want to mention our Gregory Sports Get-Her-Done Player of the Game, Jeff Foreman. Jeff was doing it, I think, as well on both ends of the ball.
He was.
And had a fantastic game. Yep. Some of the numbers I wrote down for him, 132 in the ballpark receiving. And if I recall, he even had a pick 6.
He did. That was huge at that moment, too, because we had just thrown a pick 6 on the other side. So looking at it, and we've been battling, and, you know, our defense was really keeping us in it, and offense we were struggling a little bit. So it's 14-8 at that point, and then we throw a pick 6. So the one thing we can't do, I mean, if we just keep flipping the field and playing field position, we're going to finally score. That's what we felt like. But then we throw the pick 6, and you get down 2 scores, and, you know, you feel like, oh, no, what are we going to do now? But, you know, he went out that next series, and second play, picks the ball off, takes it to the house. So, you know, that was big at that moment for sure.
Oh, it was. It was good football.
It was,
you know, we were watching it.
yeah, for sure.
Sometimes when you know you calling it and watching it at the same time, the excitement gets into you, and you're still trying to do it, but it's you go.
We call that ball watching.
Yeah.
When, you know, as coaches up there in the box, we got a job. You know, we always tell. You know, Coach Woods, he's our back-end guy. We tell him we want you to watch routes. But every once in a while, any coach up there is going to start watching the ball and watching the game. So it happens, I know.
Forget you're there.
Yeah.
You get to be a football
get
fan.
The moment.
Yeah, it gets a hold of you. So big ups to Foreman, and again, being our Gregory Sporting Goods Get-Her-Done Player of the Game. And we mentioned the receiving ends. Mukes, Boykins, they were trying to move the line and certainly stay persistent.
Yep.
I think we visited a little bit earlier, even from last year. Boykins looks like he's added a little more downhill weight to himself.
He has, and he surprised you. He's one of those guys where you watch him in practice, and he looks like a big guy's running the ball. And to me, sometimes I'm like, how's this guy even a running back? But then on the field the other night, he looked like a straight running back.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
he
sledgehammer.
looked like that's what he was born to do.
Yeah, I know.
And he's a defensive guy for us and plays linebacker, but he looked good the other night. I felt like he gave us a good spot, and a couple times, he got a big 3rd and long down there, and we were pinned, and we're back, on our own end, and he busted about a 20-yard run on 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13. So that was big. He ran it hard up inside too, and we were proud of his effort, and Mukes too. Mukes ran the ball hard. He finished off a couple runs, and that defense, Bishop McGuinness is good about creating a wall.
Yeah,
they're sound. They play disciplined football, and they don't have just one guy over there that's some big-time stud, but as a unit, they're good at what they do. And so those running lanes, they're not very big, and our guys, they hit it up in there a couple times and created stuff sometimes when it wasn't even there. So
I noticed
felt
Bishop
good about both of them.
McGuinness was able to get lateral really well.
For sure.
They move up and down.
They do.
Really well. It was noticeable.
Yeah.
And, and to say that you even, you were able to get those big runs and stuff. So definitely some encouragement there.
Yep.
And now talk about your guys blocking. I mean, how did you feel about going up against somebody with that kind of, get that experience early?
Sure, yeah. And a lot of those guys up front, our offensive line, a lot of those guys are playing for the first time on Friday night. So, I felt like the effort's there. I think we need to clean up some of our technique work. But again, anytime kids are playing hard, it's the future is bright, I guess you'd say, because that's the part you can't coach. Everything else we can coach, we can fix. But that's one area where we got to get better. We need to get better push. We need to get guys knowing their jobs better. And this week I think we're gonna see a different unit out there. I know they take ownership and our quarterbacks were rushed too much. And they know that. We had too many plays. We got hit in the backfield. And our offensive line and our offensive line coaches, they take a lot of ownership in that, which is always good. I mean, that they look at it and know we got to fix this. And I think that's one place we'll be way better this next week. And
for the most part, I felt like there was a couple times you got pressured in the backfield, but your pass blocking got
way better in the second half. That was one of the things that I really loved to see. In the first half, there were some things we busted in our pass pro. And we went at halftime, and on the sideline, our coaches did a great job of getting that fixed, and the kids did too. That's what we were talking about this weekend when we were watching the film. In the second half, 4 out of the 5 really fixed what they were doing, and took what the coach on the sideline. And anytime you can get kids to adjust in game, as coaches, that's our job. We know we can. That's something we're supposed to do. We know we can do that. But it's sometimes the kid, you worry, what can they do? What can they pick up on the sideline? And they did a great job. I felt like second half our quarterbacks were clean and had time. So
so much of it's muscle memory and stuff.
Sure.
I mean, to reprogram yourself in the moment is definitely a challenge.
Yep.
Some of the things, other defense. I thought for a lot of times when you play the 3-man line, able to hold, contain most of the evening with the exceptions of a couple runs from Richards, and quite honestly, he's fast. So,
he is.
I mean, you'd need a couple people to chase him down.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but defensively, I thought we really played well. That first quarter, I felt like it was never going to end. I mean, it's the longest first quarter in football history, but I think we played 6 or 7 possessions on defense in the first quarter.
Yeah,
that's usually a half.
Yeah,
and so as much as we were on the field defensively, I felt like what we did was good. There's things when we need to go and bow up our neck and make sure that we get stops. One of those drives, it was about a 14, 15 play drive, and we had them on 3rd down 3 times.
Yeah,
got to get off the field. I think defensively, a lot of bright spots. One of the biggest things is costly penalties. Offsides penalty there on a 3rd and 5 where they get a first down out of it. That last drive, big 3rd down play, get a pass interference call. Just things like that. 3rd and 4th down, got to get off the field. But the overall effort from the defense, I was really pleased with the way the guys hung in there and really fought. Especially with as much as we were on the field.
And I agree. I thought they did a fine job getting out there, and especially the quarterback. He's pretty salty himself on running kind of a zone read. And
then that was the thing. We knew that was going to be. It seemed like every third down, we chart plays, and we know we kind of get a feel for in game where we're at, and it felt like third down, that was their go-to. And so we adjusted to that and gave them a different look. There was a time, you might have noticed or might not, but they came out and we gave them a front for that play, and they had to call timeout.
Yeah.
They went back and they fixed it and did a different play. But, that's just the end game, trying to fix what because it doesn't matter. Anytime you play in a game, they're going to find something. They're going to find a wrinkle that you're going to have to adjust to on defense. So that was the wrinkle they found. We hadn't seen much of that. We know they ran zone read. We hadn't seen it up inside. They're running it more like a midline type play. So we tried to fix it right there, and our kids, they adjusted to it. So it was good.
That's great. Yep. That's great. Encouraging. Always moving forward.
Sure.
Now, was there any other things you took away after you got to watch the film? I know there was a play. It seemed like we were kind of going down towards the end zone, and didn't get a pass interference call that might have, could have.
Sure.
And then later on, I think there was a penalty that, we could have let go, but we got, kind of saddled with, some of those things.
Yeah, there was a couple times I thought pass interference-wise especially. The play you're talking about, I think the play you're talking about, we ran a little skinny post over the middle to Jeff Foreman, and the safety cut him off and bumped into him, and it was kind of a bang play. If it's me, I'm saying that's pass interference. If I'm on the other side, I'm saying great play. So how that goes. I mean, it could have gone either way, but and then the big one for us, I thought, was on that third down play on their last drive when they run the wheel out the backfield with the running back, and our linebacker runs with it, and he played it just like we teach it. I mean, he ran hip to hip, flipped, looked for the ball, and they underthrew it 5 yards. When he's got him cut off, but that if the ball's out in front, he never touches him.
Yeah.
But he turns around, looked for the ball, and the ball's thrown short, and they both kind of go for it, and they called pass interference on him. That one hurt a little bit. Again, it's bang plays. We don't have replay, so it's not like they don't have a lot to work with as far as that goes. But I wish it had went the other way. But
I understand.
So
but sometimes that's the spirit of the college football or high school and football. College now we replay everything. And
I know. And
you're in the stadium for 4.5 hours, and
for sure.
Yeah, and
for sure.
Buying $4.50 waters, which is pirate robbery.
Yep.
Oh, they've got a new trick now. They took away the water stands, and now you got funneled to just the concession people. So now you're like there. Well, since I'm here, I might as well buy some barbecue nachos. Why not? Right? So they're getting smarter.
Yep.
So we saw that overall. You got to watch the film. Is there any plays? I mean, how many? Kind of run over that a little bit for people. Where how many times do you watch each play?
Our process, the way we do it, we always come in an hour before our kids come in, and we'll break the film down. We'll grade the film, grade each player. We'll do our point production chart on defense, go through and see what goals we hit. We have 10 goals on offense, 10 goals on defense. We go and see our goals. Write all that down. But, as far as running it back, as coaching staff, we'll watch it, until we get what we need grade-wise. We go through it a little bit faster, knowing we're going to watch it a couple more times. When the kids come in, we'll split, watch offense, defense. Those guys that play both ways, they'll watch it later, whatever side they don't go to. But we'll run it back 2 or 3 times a play and really dive into it. If it's a play that doesn't have as much to it, we'll go a little bit quicker. But as a coaching staff, we sit there and we'll watch it. On Saturday, I watched that film probably 3 times. As by myself a couple times, and watched it with the staff, then watched it with the kids. So
you know it inside and out by the time.
I'm one of those guys. I don't know why this is, but I'm one of those guys that I've been coaching for 14, 15 years, and I remember watching, coaching my brother at Carl Albert and the game they played Noble, and I can remember every single play that they ran in overtime when they beat Noble in a big game. So I don't know. I got a weird memory like that. I remember each play, and in my head I'm sitting there replaying it, what we could have done different, what we could have done better, and what we should have called. But
and when you talk about, say, they're grading them, like a lineman, or you're watching technique up top, footwork.
Yeah, kind of. It's an overall as a whole, but we'll do plus minus, and if they do something really good, we'll give them a double plus on a play. If it's something really really bad, you'll get a double minus, and so then you just go and divide it. If they played 70 snaps and you had whatever 50 pluses, then you're going to have a decent grade. If you played 70 snaps and you got a lot more minuses, and
you might be doing a little extra, extra work at practice.
Yeah, get better.
Get better
time.
Time to get better.
Yeah.
All right. Now we talked a little bit about there, and of course the Mullins, great job, and Richardson they had on the offense, and of course they're very notable on defense. Well, they hung in there.
Good on defense. And then the Richardson kid, he's just a sophomore, so he's going to be a handful in the next couple of years. He's going to be a good football player. They're going to hear a lot about him, And then with the Mullins kid, he was hurt last year, so it's kind of a comeback for him, And so that was obviously you could tell he was fired up with the motion, and he played a good game. I think, really if things happen the way I think they're going to happen, I think we'll have a chance to see him again in the playoffs, and they'll be better by then, and hopefully we'll be better by then, and I could see it being another heavyweight fight. So
that'll be great.
We're excited. I know our kids are excited about getting another opportunity.
Oh yeah, you always want to get a second round to somebody that gets you. Of course, moving forward, got Lawton Ike on this week coming. You get a little bit of a shortened week with having a Labor Day in the mix. How's that going to affect any of your practice schedules?
Well, we keep a similar schedule. We just cut back a little bit on Wednesday, but we're going to have our normal Monday, our normal Tuesday. On our Wednesday practice, it's more of a faster walkthrough, I guess you'd say, because usually on the day before the game, it's a true walkthrough, helmet only. We're kicking the field, going through special teams, really just reminders during team and group work. But on Wednesday, we'll actually treat it like our Wednesday in a regular week, just a little bit quicker, get off the field a little bit faster, not as full tilt, just, be smarter about our body and getting our kids hydrated and rested and make sure we're fresh. That's a big thing around here. You want the horses fresh in the stable.
We had a baseball coach that he would practice us up day before, and then there was a day that it rained before a baseball game, and we got to go in the basketball and just play basketball, or go in the gym and play basketball, and then we went up and we ended up finishing second to Monroney in their own tournament, so we were like. He's like, y'all ain't never played that good before. And it's like, I guess I'll just have to give you all day off before every game. And I'm like, well, that worked well for us.
Don't tell our guys that. We're going to cut this part of it. So we need to know that.
Oh, well, hey, anything where you're not having to run laps around the football field, you're doing all right.
Sure.
Let's see, kind of touched on them. And they also had some decent receivers, Pierce and Jelnick there for. And the other thing we noticed that they really like to bring you from Bishop McGuinness is a 3-page roster, Coach. I want to commend you.
Saw that.
The Dell City Eagles roster here, 1 page.
Logos.
Yeah, logos, everything.
Might you mind the logos?
Yeah, and you even have the athletic director, assistant coaches' names, all the trainers, all this information.
We try to be all-inclusive, trying to make sure everybody gets their proper recognition.
Bishop McGuinness, to find number 72, it was like page 9, paragraph C, subsection 4.
Yeah.
It was rough. So look, let's go ahead and talk. You probably know a little more about Lawton Ike than I do.
Good team, athletic. They're a lot like us. They've got a lot of guys going both ways, so it's going to be one of those deals. Who's in the better condition? I think who's in better shape. That's the reason why we have come in here and tried to change that aspect. In the past, this doesn't come from me. This is coming from the kids. I don't think that they've been in good a shape as they are now. A lot of injuries even at this point, and so I'm hoping that's going to pay off for us on Thursday. Again, anytime we get a chance to get to the fourth quarter, I feel like the training that we have put in and the work we've put in, I think it's going to carry us. But they've got good athletes. They got a really good quarterback. He plays both ways though. He starts at outside linebacker, safety for him. Kid named R.J. Fisher. He's a really good football player. Got good running back. They've got some tall, long receivers that are going to be a threat out there. And then on defense, they're pretty sound. They're not real tricky. They're not sending people all over the place or anything like that. They just play kind of like us. They're a sound defense. They try to create walls, and they don't try to limit your big plays. So, it's going to be another heavyweight battle. Two good football teams, and again, it's a change in the week with schedule. They're dealing with it too. So, see who handles that better.
The one thing we've noticed from all the Lawton schools that have ever come up here is none of them ever short on speed.
Yeah, for sure.
They've got speedsters hanging out the back of the bus.
That's always been the case in Lawton. All three schools always compete well as far as that goes, and it's no different this year. They've got team speed on defense, on offense. So the quarterback can go any minute. I mean, he's a threat every single play. And those receivers, they can run. They're tall, long, rangy, and they can run too. So we'll have our hands full. We're not lacking speed either. It's going to be one of those games where I think you're going to see some explosiveness. Yeah. Who's going to limit the other team's explosiveness is what's going to be the key to winning the game.
Gotcha. Yeah. Don't break as much.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
And you mentioned, the athleticism and all that. Of course, you're going to their house. It's the fabled Cameron turf.
Yeah.
We hear, though, it's had some upgrades.
We hear it's better. We don't know. Have not been there, but I've heard that it's better. So
is that on the Visit Lawton Chamber website?
They should,
now with better turf.
I was going to say they should. That's their history. That's what they're known for. So I would change it.
Yeah, exactly. So we expect a pretty same kind of matchup game. A lot of speed on both ends.
Sure.
Will there be any? The other thing I kind of want to touch on, we talked about practicing special teams and stuff. So there were some blocked kicks, some other things going on. Missed that both sides of the ball. First week, jitters, timing.
Sure.
How do you improve on that?
Well, more than anything, focus and dialing in. That first extra point we go to kick, and we don't have a wing on either side. And one of them, he's a kid that he's a backup on offense. One of our kids had to go off the field because his knee pads weren't covering his knee, which I don't know if you noticed that. That was a beat down the other night. That's what those refs kept pulling kids off the field for on both sides because their knee pads weren't covering. That's a big deal in Oklahoma football this year with the officials. So if you're out there coaching, you better beware. But anyways, one of them, he ran off the field because he was excited. And I said, why weren't you on the field? I got excited, And so just focusing up and dialing in. And the other one that's supposed to be on the other side was the kid who had the knee pad problem. So as a coaching staff, that's something we need to see. And, I didn't want to call a timeout there. I didn't want to waste it on that. But looking back at it, I should have called a timeout, got the two kids on the field and done it the right way. But, other than that, special teams wise for us was actually pretty good. I mean, we kicked one out of bounds, but, those kickers, they just showed up last week. I mean, they showed up. Their first day's practice with us was, I think, Monday of last week. So we just haven't had them. They're kids that came out from cross country. They're soccer kids. So we're glad to have them. I think with the more practice we get with them, I think we're going to even get better. But, one bright spot on our special teams was Leandre Turner punting the ball.
Booted it.
Oh, man, he did a great job. And we got them all off clean, and he ended up averaging 37 yards a punt when we went back and looked at it. And
there was one that it was 40-plus something.
He had a 57-yarder, one that bounced and rolled, and he had another 50-yarder that kind of hit the ground and rolled. But he got height on the ball, and, our coverage was pretty good. So that was a big bright spot. Leandre, he had a great game on defense too. We do a point production chart, and we call it our top swarm player. That's our defense we call it swarm. But we do points, and he had 43 points, and that's pretty big. The last 7 or 8 years we've been using that chart. I think the most I've ever seen is 50, 51.
Wow.
So he had a 43-point game, and Anthony Goodlow had a 40-point game.
That's Goodlow.
Yeah, and Isaac Beverly, he was at about 33. So we had some good performers on defense. It was hard to pick a player of the week.
I can understand. Yeah, especially that first week.
For sure.
And like I said, the enthusiasm of the guys, like when they came out, they were pumped.
They were ready to roll.
They were ready to take some bumpers off the back of trucks out there.
Yeah. It was time to hit somebody else. I know that.
Now, is there any other thing? I know you're also the athletic director, activities director, overseeing things for Del City.
Yeah.
Any other things coming up that we want to mention? Or
Yeah, volleyball is doing a great job right now. We got a new head coach, Coach Terry Willie, and she's doing an excellent job with that group. Trying to improve that program, and she's doing really well with that. Softball, Coach Ricky Hammer, doing a great job there. That coaching staff is great. He's got really good help. Phyllis Love, Coach Love's one of our coaches here, and he just got some help from one of our former players who played softball at Oklahoma, Julia Burbank. Julie Dobbs was her name in high school, but she's back helping. That's real big for our girls and for that program. Cross country, we're a state champion track program, and we're trying to create some more long distance runners. So Coach Gary and Coach S and the cross country staff doing a great job with that group, and we're out there and competing hard in that. So all in all, things are good. Fall sports are going pretty well here at Del City. And
that would have been a definite tough one to talk me into. Be cross country. I'm not really the long distance guy.
I didn't think running is fun.
Yeah.
It's not my
you want me to run the 50-yard dash? I'm your guy. But past that,
I'll do it twice. Prelims and finals. That's it. That's all I got for you.
Qualifying in the final. There you go. Actually, want to let's talk about the band real quick from the game.
Yeah.
They were playing loud. Also, the performed at halftime. You after the game head over
Alma Mater
song. So some other things like that. Do you have any idea how many kids are actually in the band this year?
I know it's over 100. I want to say I heard 150, but I'm not real sure. But there's a lot of them.
Yeah,
I know
there
that.
is.
And they work their butt off. I mean, they're there. I know one day last week. I mean, they were out there on a Tuesday till 7, 8 o'clock at night, and so they get after it. Jimmy Martz does a great job with the band. They're a big support for us. Our kids, our football players love them and respect what they do, and that's a big thing. I know we went over to do the alma mater afterwards, and the music kept playing up from the top. They were playing music over the speakers, and our players were upset about it. I was yelling, trying to get it turned off, and even our players were yelling stuff to get it turned off. So they know what the band does for us, and it's reciprocated. So it's unique having that kind of relationship with the kids and the band and everybody. And then that's the thing about Del City is, especially right now, there's just a lot of support. You could feel it the other night from the fans, from the all the kids, from the Eagles Nest, and from our student council leadership group. They did a good job of rallying the students and even parents. The people were loud. So I don't usually notice that stuff on the sideline, but there was times I actually could hear it, and I usually don't hear anything.
And we saw the line out the door before the game.
Yeah, that was really cool. I saw the pictures from the Facebook page, and that was really cool.
Yeah,
it was cool to see.
It was a lot of excitement for it. Well, any other things going forward that we want to get a message out about, or?
No, this week's a big one. Got to go be 1-0. That's what we talk about every week. 1-0 mentality. So go get that first win and get back 1-1, and then go into that next one and be rolling a little bit. That next one's going to be a big one. So
and is it a 7 o'clock kickoff?
It is 7 o'clock kickoff this week, and then
at Cameron University, taking on Lawton Eisenhower. Now let's talk real quick about them. They played Lawton Mac.
They did. Lawton Mac. They hung in, and Lawton Mac's one of the better teams in the state right now, and they played them tough. In the third quarter, it was still close. They ended up giving up some stuff late and then kind of fell apart. But it ended up being 56-29. But it was a one-score game in the third quarter. So, they're a good team. They're lightning in a bottle. You got to contain it. You got to outlast them. I think is going to be the big thing. Like I said, it's a heavyweight fight, and if it's 12 rounds, we better be ready to go on the 12th because they're good.
Now I know we talked about the conditioning and part of it. Do you guys try to impress a healthy diet much on these guys? Because
we do.
That can be tough when you're a high school kid.
Sure. Yeah, we talk about it all the time. The right foods to put in your body and the things that'll give them fuel. We always talk to them about if you're a car, we'll compare them to a car and putting the right kind of stuff in your body to run.
Can't put diesel in a Prius.
Sure. Yeah. So we talk all the time about it. We try to give them. We have snacks and stuff that we've accumulated throughout the summer, and we give them good stuff all the time to put in their bodies. We always talk to them about hydration and how it starts 2 days before the game, not the day of or the day before. So we'll start talking to them today about, all right, start hydrating now. And we tell them how much water to drink. We talk pickles, electrolytes. I mean, we try to educate them as much as we can. We try to help as much as we can.
Who's eating their banana today?
Yeah, oh yeah, bananas, pickles, stuff that we can get them. That we do it. So.
Oh, have they forgone the salt pills now? Is that an old?
Well, no. We did some salt pills. Hey. They don't call it that now, but that's really what it is. But we did some before the game the other day.
Yeah.
So I know our trainer, athletic trainer, Katie, Coach O, she does a great job, and she keeps our guys very well with what they got to do to stay hydrated and keep the cramps away and things like that.
We'll probably give a quick shout out to your trainers. Kind of touch on what they do pregame, postgame, and stuff.
Everything. I mean, you talk about the team behind the team. That's them. The water. We haven't had a day yet since I've been at Del City where we didn't have water set up or we didn't have enough out there. Ice baths. The salt pills. Even this week, at halftime, she brought in some of those Gatorade protein bars, and she would cut them in half because they don't need the full one, but she would cut them in half, and she gave one of those to every player, and so she's always ahead of the game. I never even have to talk to her about that kind of stuff, and she's got a plan, and she executes a great plan. So and the girls that help her, and we got our little guy Henry. Henry helps us as well, and they do an excellent job. They're awesome.
Yeah, you kind of forget with the players out there doing that. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make the production happen, so to speak. Well, Coach, we'll try to get as many of your Eagle faithful down to Lawton for you, and if not, we'll make sure and at least get an update and stuff on their websites and their Facebook pages.
I appreciate it.
And, of course, anything we can do for you, make sure and let us know. And good luck against the Eagles of Eisenhower.
The other Eagles.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe you all could get like a Battle of the Eagle trophy or something.
Well,
start that deal.
We didn't keep the game for next year. I thought we were going to keep it, but we didn't end up keeping that game. So I wish we could. It's a good game. It's a good test for both of us. So I'm sure down the road we'll end up playing again. We're all in the same conference, so it's kind of – our paths will cross again eventually.
And how does that? When you're scheduling a season, how do you look ahead to do all that? And
it all happens the year prior, pretty much, and it's kind of a crapshoot. And it's like the Wall Street with the bell banging, and then everybody breaks out trying to find games in Tulsa at the clinic. But we had already had a couple. Here it's a little different because we knew we were going to play Midwest City. We knew we were going to play Carl Albert, but when we moved up to 6A2, that meant I had to get 2 non-districts. So we ended up getting our games, and everything was good. But it all happens a year in advance.
And I guess when you say 6A2, that was when they realigned.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for next year.
And so you'll be moving up and have to find more. Now, does it? Because obviously you're looking at different opponents, some than you might have been playing in the past.
Yeah. Within the district. Yeah.
District. So that certainly throws a new wrinkle in things, so to speak, for you.
Yeah, it does. Not looking ahead or anything, but we've looked at that schedule, and the biggest difference is between 5A and 6A2 is there's just not a whole lot of what you would call a gimme game. There's nothing like that in 6A2, and there's really nothing like that in 5A either. But just 6A2, it's. Every game is it's a toss up. You just don't know. You can't look at him and say, all right, if I'm a betting man, we're a 28-point favorite. You can't look at anything like that. It's you got to play every week. You got to come prepared. You got to be focused, and it's a dogfight every week. And that's kind of what I'm used to, where I'm coming from. With the last few years, it's been that same way where you had to strap up and go play every week. And I think it's going to be the same way once we get there.
Yeah.
Which. Are you ready to go then?
Yeah. Well, it's exciting, but hey, you make the most of this round now, right? And because you may not get to see some of these guys again for a while. Yeah. So get your wins in when you can.
There you go.
Well, great. I think we've covered quite a bit today, and again, want to thank you very much for your time and putting up with us. And we'll stay after it, and look forward to talking to you next week.
Appreciate it.
Hey, good luck against Eisenhower, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. All right, this has been the Coaches Show for Del City with head coach Mike Dunn. We'll have more coming up next week. And stay tuned here on Del City Eagle Vision.